The gunshot echoed through Jinwoo's penthouse like a death sentence. Adana stood frozen, her hand still raised, smoke curling from the barrel of the gun she'd just fired. The woman crumpling to the marble floor wasn't Russian, wasn't an enemy combatant. She was Korean, elegant, and according to the DNA test clutched in her other hand, she was Jinwoo's daughter. "What have I done?" Adana's voice cracked, the weapon slipping from her trembling fingers. Jinwoo burst through the door, his security team behind him, and stopped dead. His eyes moved from the bleeding woman on the floor to Adana, then to the papers scattered like accusations across expensive marble. "She tried to kill me," Adana whispered. "Your daughter tried to kill me." Behind them, through the penthouse's open door, another voice rang out, thick with a Nigerian accent, sharp with maternal fury. "Adana Johnson, what is the meaning of this?" Her parents had arrived, and they'd walked straight into a crime scene. "Yo! Before we dive into this chaos, I need to take a moment to thank you. We hit 2,000 subscribers. You beautiful people made this happen. If you're new here, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button right now because over here we don't do cliché. Drop a like and comment where you're watching from. I want to see my global family. Now, let's see how Adana survives this nightmare. Let's go." 72 hours earlier, Adana woke to the smell of jollof rice in Jinwoo's penthouse. At 6 in the morning, her eyes snapped open. She knew that smell, had grown up with it, celebrated with it, been comforted by it. But it had no business being in a Korean Mafia Boss's Atlanta penthouse unless— "No," she breathed, throwing off the silk sheets. "No, no, no." Jinwoo was already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed in black silk pajama pants, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Korean. His free hand ran through his silver-streaked hair, a gesture she'd learned meant he was strategizing under pressure. He ended the call, turned to her. "Your parents are in my kitchen." "What?" Adana scrambled out of bed, grabbing his discarded dress shirt from the night before. "How? When? Why didn't you—" "They arrived 20 minutes ago. Walked past my security with your childhood photos and Nigerian passports. My men didn't know whether to shoot or offer them tea." His dark eyes held hers. "Your mother is currently reorganizing my spice cabinet and critiquing my lack of proper seasoning. Your father is reading my financial newspapers and asking pointed questions about my import-export business." This couldn't be happening. Adana had carefully crafted her communications with her parents over the past 2 months. Vague texts about work being busy, video calls strategically angled to hide the luxury around her, lies about a roommate situation to explain her new address. "You have to hide," Adana said, pacing. "The tattoos, the guards, the everything. They can't know about you, about us, about any of this." Jinwoo stood, crossing to her with that predatory grace that still made her pulse race. His hands framed her face. "I'm not hiding, Adana. I don't hide from anyone, not even your parents. They'll drag me back to Nigeria. They'll try." His smile was dark silk. "But you're mine, and I protect what's mine." The kitchen was a war zone of cultural collision. Adana's mother, Chidinma, 52, beautiful, wearing traditional Nigerian attire and an expression that could wilt steel, stood at Jinwoo's state-of-the-art stove, stirring a pot with the wooden spoon she'd apparently brought from home. Her father, Obi, 55, tall, distinguished in his professor's blazer, sat at the island reading the Wall Street Journal, his reading glasses perched on his nose. They both looked up when Adana entered, wearing Jinwoo's shirt, which hit her mid-thigh, with her natural hair a mess and a love bite visible on her collarbone. "Adana," her mother said, voice dangerously calm, "introduce us to your landlord." Jinwoo entered behind her, now wearing black slacks and a crisp white dress shirt, though he'd left it deliberately unbuttoned enough that his tattoos were visible. A power move. He was showing her parents exactly who he was. "Mr. and Mrs. Johnson," Jinwoo said, his accent crisp, his posture commanding. I'm Jinwoo Park, and I'm not Adana's landlord. I'm the man who loves your daughter. The wooden spoon clattered into the pot. Obi set down his newspaper with surgical precision. You're old enough to be her father. I'm aware. You're covered in tattoos like a thug. I am a thug, a very successful one. Jinwoo's hand found Adana's waist, possessive. But I'm also the man who will give your daughter everything. Protection, wealth, devotion. Things her previous boyfriend, my own disappointing son, failed to provide. Her mother's eyes went wide. Your son? Adana, you're dating your ex-boyfriend's father? Mama, I can explain. Explain! There is no explanation for this abomination. Her mother switched to Igbo, the words flying like weapons, questioning Adana's judgment, her morals, her sanity. Jinwoo surprisingly responded, in Igbo, halting, accented but unmistakably the same language. The kitchen fell silent. You speak Igbo? Adana breathed. I had 3 weeks to prepare for this conversation. I hired tutors. Jinwoo's eyes never left her parents. I told your mother that I understand her concerns, that in her position I would react the same way. But I also told her that I've waited my entire life to feel what I feel for Adana. And I won't apologize for claiming that happiness. Chidinma stared at him, then at Adana, then back at him. You learned my language, for my daughter. I'd learn 1,000 languages for her. Obi stood, his professorial bearing making him seem taller than Jinwoo despite being an inch shorter. Words are cheap, Mr. Park. What are your intentions toward my daughter? To keep her, to protect her, to make her my wife if she'll have me. The room tilted. Adana grabbed the counter. What? Jinwoo turned to her, and for a moment the ruthless mafia boss disappeared, leaving only a man in love. Did you think this was temporary? That I'd claim you, mark you as mine, pull you into my world, and then let you go? His hand cupped her face. You're the queen of my empire, Adana. I want it official, in every way that matters. You're proposing now? In front of my parents while my mother's jollof rice is burning? The rice! Chidinma lunged for the stove. Obi's hand landed on Jinwoo's shoulder. Not aggressive, but firm. Step outside with me, man to man. They left. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Adana could see them on the balcony. Her father's arms crossed, Jinwoo's posture relaxed but ready. 2 men negotiating her future like she was a prize instead of a person. Mama, Adana started. Don't mama me. Chidinma stirred the rice with aggressive precision. When were you going to tell us you'd moved in with a gangster old enough to remember when cassette tapes were new technology? He's 52, not 70. And I love him. The spoon stopped. Her mother turned, eyes searching Adana's face. You truly love this man? This dangerous, tattooed, too old Korean man who probably kills people before breakfast? He kills people after breakfast. He's very particular about his morning routine. At her mother's expression, Adana softened. Yes, Mama. I love him. More than I thought I could love anyone. He's ruthless and dangerous and morally complicated, but he's also protective and surprisingly gentle, and he looks at me like I'm the only thing in his world that matters. Chidinma was quiet for a long moment. Then, does he treat you well? Better than I knew I deserved. Does he protect you? With his life, literally, multiple times. Her mother nodded slowly. Then I will try to understand. But Adana, this life, guns and violence and hiding from police, this is not what your father and I sacrificed everything for. I know. And I'm still a nurse. I still save lives, I just also happen to be in love with a man who takes them. On the balcony, Obi and Jinwoo seemed to have reached some kind of accord. They shook hands, her father's grip testing, Jinwoo's confident, and returned inside. We've come to an agreement, Obi announced. You'll continue your nursing career, no exceptions. Your education was too expensive and too hard-won to abandon. I never planned to quit. And, her father continued, Mr. Park has agreed to a traditional Nigerian engagement process. Bride price negotiations, family meetings, proper respect to our customs. Jinwoo's slight smile told Adana he'd orchestrated this. By giving her father control over the cultural elements, he'd earned the man's grudging respect. And, Obi added, his professorial tone going sharp, he's explained the nature of his business. I don't approve, but I understand you're an adult who's made her choice, so instead of fighting it, I'll ensure you're protected. I've already contacted some former students who work in law and politics. If you're going to be a criminal's wife, you'll have legal protection I arrange. Dad, don't argue. It's this or I drag you back to Lagos. Adana looked at Jinwoo, who simply shrugged. Your father drives a hard bargain. I respect it. The moment of family détente shattered when Minho burst through the penthouse door, phone in hand, expression urgent. He started speaking Korean to Jinwoo, then remembered the guests and switched to English. Hyungnim, we have a situation. David is back, and he's not alone. Hold up. If you're loving this drama, hit that subscribe button right now. Like and comment family drama if you want to know what happens next. The war room in Jinwoo's building looked like something from a spy thriller. Multiple screens showed surveillance feeds from across Atlanta. Korean, Russian, and Italian names were listed on a digital board with threat assessments. Armed men in tactical gear stood at intervals. Adana's parents sat in the corner, her mother clutching her father's hand, both looking like they'd stepped into a nightmare. On the main screen, David. But not the soft, disappointing son Jinwoo had exiled. This David was harder, colder, flanked by Korean men in expensive suits who radiated danger. That's the Kim family, Jinwoo said, voice ice. My oldest rivals. They've been trying to take the Southeast Territories for 20 years. And David went to them. Adana couldn't believe it. He's working with your enemies? He's not working with them, he's leading them. Minho pulled up financial documents. He gave them everything. Our routes, our contacts, our safe houses. In exchange, they're backing him as the new power in Atlanta. They want Jinwoo's empire and David wants revenge. On screen, David spoke directly to the camera, knowing his father was watching. You took everything from me, Father. My dignity, my woman, my place in your world. So I'll take everything from you, starting with her. The feed cut to another image. Adana's apartment building, the hospital where she worked, Kioma's house. He's threatening everyone I love, Adana breathed. He's declaring war. Jinwoo's expression was carved from stone. And he just made a fatal mistake. What mistake? Obi asked from the corner. Jinwoo turned and his smile was terrifying. He assumed I'd hesitate because he's my blood. He forgot that Adana is my heart. And I burn the world for my heart. The attack came at midnight. 3 of Jinwoo's warehouses hit simultaneously. The Kim family was making their move, with David at the helm proving he could hurt his father's operations. But Jinwoo had anticipated it. Adana watched from the war room as his counter-strategy unfolded on screens. His men had evacuated the warehouses hours ago, rigged them with surveillance, and now had clear footage of every Kim operative involved. You let them destroy your property, Obi observed. Why? Because now I have legal cause to retaliate, and evidence to ensure the police look the other way when I do. Jinwoo glanced at Adana's father. You wanted to know how I've survived this long, Professor? Strategy. Always 3 moves ahead. Chidinma had spent the evening in the medical facility downstairs, watching Adana treat wounded men with professional detachment. Now she approached Jinwoo quietly. My daughter is good at what she does, she said. The best I've ever seen. And you've pulled her into a world where her healing hands might have to hurt. Jinwoo met her eyes. I've given her the choice to leave every single day. She stays. Not because I force her, but because she's stronger than either of us knew. You better be worth it, Mr. Park, or prayer won't save you from a Nigerian mother's wrath. His respect for her deepened. I'll spend my life trying to be. The real chaos erupted on day 6 of her parents' visit. Adana was in the medical facility reviewing supply inventories when alarms blared. Security feeds showed a woman approaching the building. Korean, late 20s, beautiful, flanked by armed men who weren't Kim family or Russian. Jinwoo's face went pale. No. She's supposed to be in Seoul. Who? Adana demanded. My daughter, Hana. The world stopped. Your what? I have a daughter, from my first marriage. She's been in Korea for 20 years, safe from this life. I haven't seen her since she was 8. Jinwoo was already moving, barking orders in Korean. She shouldn't be here. Something's wrong. Hana Park entered the penthouse like a queen claiming her throne. She was stunning. Her father's eyes, her mother's delicate features, wearing a white suit that screamed wealth and power. The men with her were clearly her personal security, loyal to her, not Jinwoo. Hello, father, she said in perfect English with a slight British accent. Surprised? Hana, what are you doing here? It's not safe. Safe? Her laugh was cutting. Nothing's been safe since I learned my father, the man who abandoned me in Korea with nannies and blood money, has replaced me with some African nurse he's known for 5 minutes. Adana stepped forward. I'm not replacing anyone. You're wearing his ring. Hana's eyes locked on the engagement band Jinwoo had given Adana 2 days prior, the one that belonged to my mother, the one he swore no one else would ever wear. Jinwoo's expression shifted. Guilt, regret, protective fury. Hana, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. I'm the forgotten daughter, the inconvenient reminder of your first family. So you build a new one with her. Hana's voice dripped venom. Did you tell her about Mother? How she died because of your enemies? How you shipped me off to Korea to protect me, which really meant abandoning me? The room was silent except for Chidinma's sharp intake of breath. Adana's parents were witnessing this implosion in real time. I sent you away because I loved you, Jinwoo started. You sent me away because I reminded you of your failure. Hana's composure cracked. And now you're making the same mistake with her, pulling someone you love into danger, painting a target on her back. Tell me, father, how long before she ends up like Mother? Adana felt the blow of those words. Jinwoo's first wife, killed by enemies. And here she was, engaged to the same man in the same dangerous world. That won't happen, Jinwoo said, his voice deadly quiet. You can't promise that. You couldn't save Mother. You can't save her. Hana turned to Adana. Leave him, while you still can. This life destroys everyone it touches. I'm not leaving. Then you're a fool. Hana's eyes were cold. But you're not the rightful queen of this empire. I am. I'm his blood, his heir, and I've spent 20 years preparing to take what's mine. Hana, Jinwoo's voice was sharp. Stand down. No. She pulled out a document. I've been in contact with the Kim family. They've made me an offer. Help them take you down, and they'll give me control of half the territories. I'll finally have the power you denied me. You'd betray your own father? You betrayed me first, when you chose your empire over your daughter. Hana's hand moved to her jacket, and Adana saw it, the gun. Everything happened in slow motion. Hana drew. Jinwoo reached for his own weapon. Adana's training kicked in. The hours at the shooting range, the tactical lessons, the survival instincts she'd honed. She was faster than both of them. The gunshot echoed. Hana stumbled, blood blooming on her shoulder. Non-lethal. Precise. Exactly where Adana had aimed. Hana's gun clattered to the floor. Her security moved, but Jinwoo's men were faster, Weapons drawn, a standoff in the penthouse. "Nobody moves," Jinwoo commanded. Then softer, broken. "Hana!" "She shot me," Hana gasped, clutching her shoulder. "Your whore shot me." "You pulled a gun on her father," Adana said, her voice steady despite her shaking hands. "In my home. What did you expect?" The DNA test fell from Hana's pocket, proof of her claim, her lineage, her right to challenge Adana's place. And that's when the penthouse door burst open again. "Adana Chidinma Johnson, what is the meaning of this?" Her mother, taking in the scene, the blood, the guns, her daughter holding a weapon over another woman's body. Obi stepped forward, his professorial calm shattered. "Everyone put down your weapons. Now." Surprisingly, they did. Maybe because he had the authoritative tone of a man who'd commanded lecture halls of rowdy students for 30 years. Or maybe because the situation was so absurd that everyone needed a moment to reset. Jinwoo knelt beside Hana, his hands gentle as he examined her wound. "It's not fatal. Clean through and through." Adana knew what she was doing. "I'm a trauma nurse," Adana said quietly. "I know exactly where to shoot to stop someone without killing them." Hana looked at her father, tears streaming. "You love her more than you ever loved me." "That's not true," Jinwoo's voice cracked. "Hana, sending you away was the hardest thing I've ever done. But your mother's death, I couldn't risk you, I couldn't lose you too. So you lost me anyway for 20 years. Chidinma, of all people, moved forward. She knelt beside Hana, producing a clean cloth from somewhere, pressing it to the wound. "You're hurt and angry, but right now you need medical attention. The rest can wait." "Why are you helping me?" Hana asked. "Because I'm a mother, and I see a daughter in pain." Chidinma looked at Jinwoo. "You have much to answer for, Mr. Park, to both these women." In the medical facility, Adana operated on Hana while her parents watched. One monitoring the patient, one observing his daughter's steady hands save the woman who'd tried to kill her. "You're good at this," Hana said quietly, the anesthesia making her honest. "It's what I do. Save people, even the ones who want me dead. I don't want you dead. I want what you have, his attention, his love, the feeling of being chosen." Hana's eyes filled with tears. "I've been alone for so long." "Then stop being alone. You're his daughter. That doesn't change because of me." Jinwoo stood in the doorway, watching. When Adana finished, he approached his daughter's bedside. "I failed you," he said simply. "As a father, as protection. I chose your safety over your happiness, and I see now that was the wrong choice. You can't fix 20 years with an apology. No. But I can start trying today." He took her hand. "Stay. Not as my heir or my enemy, but as my daughter. Let me know you. Let Adana know you. You don't have to be alone anymore." Hana looked at Adana. "You really love him? Even knowing how he destroys everything?" "He hasn't destroyed me, he's made me stronger." Adana's hand found Jinwoo's. "And maybe together we can build something that doesn't destroy, that protects." "That's naive." "Maybe. But I'm trying anyway." Hana was quiet for a long moment. Then, "The Kim family. David contacted me months ago, told me about you, about father replacing me. I was angry, I wanted revenge, but seeing this, seeing how you shot me precisely to stop me without killing me, you could have ended the threat. But you didn't. You're his daughter. I could never." Something shifted in Hana's expression. "David is planning something bigger, an attack during the engagement ceremony. He's coordinating with the Kims and the Russians, a united front to take down father while he's distracted with family obligations." "When?" Jinwoo demanded. "The ceremony your future in-laws are insisting on. 3 days from now." Hana met her father's eyes. "I was supposed to help. Get close, lower your guard. But I can't. Not after this. Obi stepped forward. Then we cancel the ceremony. No, Jinwoo said. We use it. If they're planning an attack, we'll be ready. Turn their trap into ours. You'd risk your own engagement? Chidinma asked. I'd risk anything to end this war. To make Adana safe. To give us a real future. Jinwoo looked at his daughter. Will you help us? Hana's smile was slow, dark, her father's smile. I didn't come all the way from Seoul to miss a good fight. Tell me the plan. The next 3 days were chaos. Adana's parents insisted on traditional Nigerian engagement elements, which meant coordinating with Jinwoo's Korean cultural requirements, all while planning for an attack from 3 hostile forces. Chidinma took over the penthouse kitchen, cooking enough jollof rice and pounded yam to feed an army, which, given Jinwoo's security force, wasn't far off. She and Hana formed an unlikely alliance, the older woman finding purpose in mothering the daughter who'd been alone too long. Obi and Jinwoo spent hours in the war room, the professor's strategic mind surprising the mafia boss. You think like a tactician, Jinwoo observed. I taught military history for 15 years. Theory becomes useful when your daughter is engaged to a crime lord. The engagement ceremony was held in a neutral luxury hotel, public enough to seem legitimate, controlled enough for Jinwoo's security to monitor. Nigerian and Korean guests mixed, cultures blending, while underneath armed men in suits watched for threats. Adana wore traditional Nigerian attire, a stunning coral and gold outfit that her mother had brought from Lagos. Jinwoo wore a tailored suit with Korean silk accents. They looked like a magazine spread on multicultural romance, if you ignored the concealed weapons and tactical earpieces. David made his move during the traditional gift exchange. The lights cut out. Gunfire erupted. Guests screamed and dove for cover as Kim family soldiers poured in from multiple entrances. But Jinwoo had planned for this. His men were positioned, ready. The guests on his side were actually elite security. The blackout lasted exactly 15 seconds, long enough to deploy night vision, not long enough for chaos. When the lights returned, David stood in the center of the ballroom, gun to Kiyoma's head. Adana's best friend, who'd been cornered during the confusion. Nobody moves or she dies. David's voice was unhinged. Father, you took everything from me. Now I take everything from you. Let her go, Adana said, stepping forward despite Jinwoo's restraining hand. Your fight is with us, not her. My fight is with everyone who chose him over me. David's eyes were wild. My own father, my girlfriend, even my sister. Hana stepped out from behind a pillar, gun trained on her half-brother. I chose family, real family, not the twisted version you're peddling. The standoff was broken by the most unlikely source. Obi, moving with surprising speed for a professor, tackled David from the side. The gun went off, the bullet going wide. Kiyoma broke free. Jinwoo's men swarmed. The Kim family soldiers realized they were outmatched and outnumbered. David was subdued, screaming threats and curses. Jinwoo stood over his son, expression unreadable. You could have had everything. I would have made you my heir despite your weaknesses. But you chose revenge over redemption. I'll kill her, David spat. I'll kill that bitch if it's the last thing I do. The punch came from Adana. Her fist connected with his jaw, all the training Jinwoo had given her, all the rage from months of chaos channeled into one perfect hit. David went down hard. I'm not a bitch, Adana said calmly. I'm the queen of this empire. Learn the difference. Chidinma started a slow clap. That's my daughter. The aftermath was handled with surgical precision. The Kim family soldiers were detained, their leadership arrested with Jinwoo's carefully planted evidence. David was given a choice: permanent exile in a monitored facility, or face charges for attempted murder with Jinwoo's extensive documentation of his crimes. He chose exile. And this time, there would be no return. The ceremony continued remarkably, because Chidinma insisted that after all that planning, they were having the traditional engagement blessing. So with armed guards stationed at every entrance and half the guests sporting concealed weapons, Adana and Jinwoo completed their Nigerian-Korean fusion engagement. Obi blessed them in Igbo. A Korean elder blessed them in Korean, and somehow, impossibly, it felt right. Later, in the penthouse, cleaned up and exhausted, Adana stood on the balcony with Jinwoo watching Atlanta's lights twinkle. "Your life is insane," she observed. "Our life," he corrected. "You punched my son in front of 200 people. You're fully committed now. Your daughter tried to kill me, and now she's in there teaching my mother Korean drinking games. Nothing about this is normal." "Normal is overrated." His arms wrapped around her from behind. "Are you happy?" Adana thought about it. The violence, the danger, the complicated family dynamics. Her parents sleeping in the guest room, planning to stay for a month. Hana claiming the other guest room, tentatively building a relationship with her father. The empire she'd inherited, the lives she saved, the man she loved despite all reason. "Yeah," she said. "Weirdly, I am." "Good, because there's one more thing." Jinwoo pulled out a small box, opened it. Inside was a ring, Nigerian gold crafted in Korean style with both cultures represented. "I know we're already engaged, but I wanted to do this properly. With your parents' blessing, with Hana here, with our family, chaotic as it is." He knelt. "Adana Chidinma Johnson, will you marry me, officially, traditionally, and permanently?" "You already asked me." "I asked you in a kitchen while your mother's jollof rice burned. This time I'm asking right, so." She pulled him to his feet, kissed him hard, and whispered against his lips. "Yes. Every day. Yes." Inside, through the window, they could see their bizarre family. Nigerian parents, Korean daughter, best friend, and loyal men celebrating with a mixture of palm wine and soju. Adana had slept with her ex's father, fallen for a monster, built a family from chaos. And she wouldn't change a single deadly consequence. If that ending had you in your feelings, you better smash that subscribe button. Like this video and drop a comment telling me your favorite moment. Was it Adana punching David or Hana's redemption arc? Let me know. Thank you for getting us to 2,000 subscribers. Let's hit 5,000 next. Share this video with someone who loves forbidden romance, messy families, and badass female leads. Comment where you're watching from. I see you.